Welcome, welcome. It is week 4 in emergency. This is Iona, and we are here together to bridge out of the April clarity moon month of our natural circadian feminine year into the wisdom moon month of May. It's such an exciting place, and we call it a cross-quarter shift in energy as we bridge from the fire element of clarity, Aries, into the earth element of Taurus, wisdom. It's a wonderful opportunity for us to revisit our covenant, which we like to keep close at hand in our Emerge and See playbook, so that it's always right there for us. And when we look at our covenant now, we're looking at this cross-quarter point, the May 1st point, and we're looking at being 46 days into our journey. Pretty close to the beginning still. I mean, we're really just sensing into what we're up to here. So we're remembering that this is all about progress without pressure. This is all about a graced pace. This is not about trying to get someplace fast, and yet the paradox is that from spring equinox all the way over to the fall equinox, there is a sense of movement and that being our doing. It's a really, really exciting time of the year. And at this cross-quarter point, we're looking at sensing into our true identity. So we get out our covenant and we look at this second point, and in the second 46 days, we engage in, I identify with the true me. Now this is really very powerful because we're engaged in the BEME, all the me's that I've ever been throughout time, and now 1 month in, we can really begin to sense into this bridge that we're building into the true me. Our identity is very malleable. It's never the same, but yet there are creative ways in which we can connect to the core of who we're being in any given moment in time. So our first creative prompt for this week is to get out our 5x7 index card, and we want to remember that we're working in the middle of the circle. And last time we worked with the idea of I impact evolution, and now we're moving into I use my experience. So as we evolve, we get more and more experience. As we get more experience, we learn how to use it as an investment account. We always know that we've already done a whole lot in our lives by the time we get to this place on the wheel. So we use our experience as a currency, as a way of moving through the world with value. So that's a very beautiful way to begin to think about this prompt. I use my experience. I'm valuable. I am valuable. And I use my experience to help me cross the bridges that I meet in my life. A bridge can be something really scary to cross. A lot of us have a phobia about coming up upon bridges. I think about an Amazonian jungle bridge that's made of one piece of rope and a couple pieces of wire, and we've got to get across this raging river. And it's really, really scary, and we don't want to start. We feel kind of catatonic, and that can be a kind of a bridge. Then there's the bridges that we have here in our area. There are bridges and tunnels everywhere because there's water all over the place. And there's one particular bridge, the Chesapeake Bay Bridge, that you can Google. At one point, it was one of the wonders of engineering on the planet. I don't know if it qualifies anymore, but it's a huge span across 25 or 29 miles of water. So we're thinking about bridges. And at the same time, in our own metaphoric way of being a creative in the world, our bridge might be a footpath, might be very stable. Remember, when we move out of the clarity month and into the wisdom month, we're moving from the fire element into the earth element, and things we consider the idea, we allow for the room to be more stable, to be more anchored, to be more rooted. We think about our ability to send energy down through our legs and into the earth as we take a step onto the bridge into the wisdom cycle. It's a very, very rich place that we're going to be for these next 4 weeks throughout the wisdom cycle. And to support us in finding our way to use our experience, I'd like to recommend a beautiful tool. You never have to do anything that I recommend, but in our archetypal, alchemical, shamanic journey, we can really learn a great deal from those that have come before us. And so I encourage you throughout the Wisdom Moon month to find mentors, to find way showers, to find those that you can kind of lean into and find the support that you're looking for as you're crossing your bridge from clarity, such as it is at this point in time, into the wisdom cycle, using your experience. So I want to recommend Signs of Life by Angeles Arion. It's a beautiful book, visually beautiful book. Mine's a very, very old copy. I've had it since 1991, and I've used it in just about every session of workshop, studio, creativity salons, and all of my group work. I love to begin with what I call the leveler of the Universal Shapes test. If you get the book, and I highly recommend that you do have it on your bookshelf so that you can read it and really engage in it, when you use the book, you'll gain a lot of information. But for our purposes today, I just want to give you the Universal Shapes as they appear. And I ask you to take let me find a blank. Here's a blank 5x7 card that you'll use in a vertical format. And I'm going to hold up the Universal Shapes. Here they are. Simple shapes, and you're going to look at them and find your favorite shape and draw it, and then you're going to go down the line until you have all 5 shapes on the paper. You don't think about this. It's very spontaneous and very intuitive, and in the end you will have your 5 shapes. And we will talk about these on our call, and we'll look at them on, if you want to post them on Facebook, on our group page. It'll be fun to see what everyone's test looks like. I also encourage you this week to get with me, if you haven't already received your personal year printout for this walk around the natural circadian feminine year in your life based on your birth date. So if you haven't gotten your personal year printout thus far, please email me or private message me simply your birth month and your birth day. I'm born on February the 15th, so I would send in February is 2 and the 15th day. And then I will return to you your personal year information. That's also going to give you a lot of individual wisdom that's just yours for your creative walk around this natural circadian feminine year. Remember, each of us in our own way is creating focus on a dream, vision, idea, inspiration, project, program, challenge, relationship. We're each working with something that we are going to track for the full year. And even if you don't go through the full year here in our It's About Time to Create Progress Without Pressure programs, you'll still have a lot of insight and information no matter how far you go. So I really want to encourage each of us to be engaged in building the bridge from the fire element to the earth element. Now, there are particular ways in which the earth begins to give us a sense of that real strong anchor that I spoke of earlier. And this is where we can actually visualize and draw into our workbook, playbook, the image of our own body with legs that have strong roots going right down through our feet and into the earth. And we might want to give ourselves a real visual for this wisdom cycle, that I am rooted, I am anchored, I am stable, I am grounded. I stand on my own 2 feet by drawing a figure. You can even take a photograph of yourself, print it out, glue it into your workbook, playbook, and then draw in your root chakra, nice bright red, and then draw down a red root, or you can simply do a stick figure. It doesn't matter. You just want the visual that you have strong roots going down the legs, running through the feet, going down into the earth, and a strong root that also emanates from the base of the spine, so that you can visually see a tripod of energy that takes you down and grounds you into the earth Mother, the divine feminine, the goddess energy. This whole month, we're really working with being connected to the earth and grounded into her resource and allowing that energy to flow down from us with our awareness of the anchoring, and then the energy of the earth coming back to meet us by rising up through those roots that we've cast down. It's a very, very exciting time, and it gives us an opportunity to recognize that all of our lives we've been using our experience. So for our week 4, we're looking at building a bridge. You might cut photographs out of magazines of bridges. You might begin to just imagine, what is the bridge that I'm crossing? How does it feel? Do I feel safe on my bridge? You are going to be drawing your 5x7 card to remind yourself that you use your experience, and you use the experience that you've gained throughout this life by working with the ancestors and the elements. Whether you are consciously connected to the ancestors and the elements is not even an issue. All the me's that I've ever been throughout time certainly have been. So we also are reminding ourselves that in this week 4, we're looking at signs of life, the universal shapes test, and we'll be pulling that a part of the test into our work as we move further into the wisdom cycle. This is Iona. This is Wren House Studio. This is Emerge and See. It's our spring edition of It's About Time to Create Progress Without Pressure. I'm really glad that you're here, and I look forward to seeing you on the call, hearing you, being with you on our call tomorrow evening. As usual, I invite you to be on the call live. Bring your voice, bring your ideas, bring what's happening for you as you begin to build a bridge. And if you can't join us live on the call, you know that it's always going to be in a recorded fashion available to you on Friday mornings with the full library of all of our weeks prior, so that you have everything at your fingertips. Don't forget that when you get your email on Friday mornings, you can scroll down, because I add bonus and information in some weeks, and you don't want to miss those bonuses. Much love. I'll see you on the call.